Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back once again, because we're looking forward to another exciting edition of Rival Battles. We've got ourselves a bit of a spin-off going on this time around with Project Shadow, looking to line up with a series of Shadow-focused categories. And we've got an interesting interview format here as well, because we've not got our traditional pair format where we have one runner against each other. We've got a nice little lineup of three runners all doing their own individual runs. I'm joined here by Labrys, Pokemon Master, and Azrael Kirby. How are you all doing today? Lab, how are you?
Doing okay.
Yeah, we're hanging out, chilling. We're
I'm
chilling out
chilling.
in Crisis City.
Yeah, it's on fire.
Yeah, certainly is. Pokemon Master, how are you feeling?
Actually, this week has been pretty difficult for me, but um, today's all right.
Ah, good to hear. And Kirby, how are you?
I'm doing quite well. How about yourself?
Yeah, not doing too bad. It's getting a little bit late where I am, but we're moving, we're cruising. Gonna get this going. So, yeah, looking ahead towards this, you're all doing your own thing separate from one another in this event. And I'll start with Lab, who is going to be dipping back into '06, as we've seen him do a fair few times now, I think. What do we... Well, this is going to be the third time you've played '06, but it's going to be the first time on Rival Battles where you will be going into Shadow Story, and you're going to go...
Yeah.
You're going to be going up against Matty XD, fresh off the back of a tournament win. So how are you feeling with that? How are you feeling in terms of your sort of recent Shadow form? And just tell me a bit about your sort of history with Shadow Story as a whole.
Um, Shadow was actually the first category I've ever run. I had I've spread myself pretty thin, and I've played a lot of stuff across the Sacer era, but ultimately Shadow was like the first thing I ever really picked up and really got me into speedrunning.
Oh, yeah.
Um, it's something I always kind of come back to, and then like don't come back to, and then I come back to. Um, so it's always kind of there for me. However, this time I don't know. Um, Maddie is definitely has shown himself to be a really consistent player and a really formidable opponent in a game in a category that is very front loaded and very quirky, to
Mm.
say the least. You have things like egg Cerberus to deal with before you even get out of like the 5 minute mark. It's ridiculous. But um, I feel like I can hold my own. It'll just come down to which dog likes who more.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, a very volatile category. I think is probably the right word is Shadow Story, especially early on.
Yeah,
But yeah, definitely something which you've got a good shot in because you were up until recently the world record holder on emulator, so by no means a slouch, by no means anything going to be a one-sided event here. It's going to be a pretty cool match to look forward to. And then
yeah,
going over to Pokemon Master, we've got another very interesting match, this one, because this is one which you actually sort of picked out specifically. It's not a traditional sort of story route, but you are going to be going up against good friend Jacko TSC in a specific predetermined path, which is 138. Why don't you tell me a little bit about how this came to light?
Um, well, I know basically like the five main categories in um, Shadow the Hedgehog are all different, but they all go like the first three stages, maybe sometimes the first four, are like all the same. And pure dark, neutral, hero, and pure hero. So I wanted to change it up a bit and do like something different this time.
Yeah.
So you could give like the viewers and like the players too, something refreshing.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, you're a name who's actually been around speedrunning for a fair old while, actually, in terms of Shadow the Hedgehog and also a couple of other games as well. Why don't you talk to me a little bit about just your general history of like how you ended up becoming a Shadow speedrunner and just what it's been like being alongside this game for so long, so many years.
Oh wow, yeah, that could get like a pretty long answer. But I'll try not to take everyone's time up. But yeah, I basically bought the game like when the day or so came out, and I competed with my couple of my friends, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Real life friends offline for the first few months. And then the start of like 2006, I started just competing like online. Because I was trying to get more seriously into the game, so I was trying to find something at this point. I thought, hey, the internet's been around for like 20 years by now. There must be some leaderboards out there. People must be competing at this point, and yeah, there was. There's the Sonic Center. Cyberscore is another big website that I first joined, and that was pretty much it, I guess, for speedrun websites at the time. Like speedrun.com wouldn't be around for like many more years. Speed Demo's archive was like pretty selective at the time, so like there was no Shadow or Sonic Heroes. I don't even think Sonic Adventure 2 had a run on Speed Demo's archive at the time, but yeah, I just enjoyed the game, started submitting to Cyberscore, and then Sonic Center, and just took it from there. Meeting a lot of different people along the way.
Yeah, and obviously going up against Jacko, one of those people who you have met. Obviously, you requested to go up against him specifically, so like, what's been the dynamic there? Has it kind of been somebody who you've known for a long time, somebody who you've competed against in a lot of different categories?
Well, no, Jacko, I haven't known him that long. I guess since the first Sonic Speedrunning's Discord server. I think there's two.
Mm-hmm.
The very first one was when I guess like the modern era of this of Sonic speedrunning all gathered together as like a community. The first big community, I guess, that wasn't on Skype or anything like that. So I met him for the first time there. I haven't really talked to him too much, but I know he's of course, very talented, and I don't have much experience like interacting. So I thought, hey, why not choose him? You know,
Okay.
I know he's good, and I chose a route that specific route I requested has a bunch of stages that we're actually good at, just the missions. So I thought it would be interesting. You know, like why not gather a bunch of these stages and see how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a really interesting one, very unique. And switching on over then to another runner who's played their trade in Shadow for a long old time now, but by no means a stranger to anybody, Azrael Kirby, you are going to be hopping on into a bit more of a recent development with the Shadow franchise, Shadow speedrun community, because yourself and Zeti are going to be showing off Shadow SX with a little bit of a neutral glitchless race. So before we get into any of that, why don't you talk to me a little bit about your own history, because you've kind of been around Shadow for, I would say, around about the same amount of time.
I'm not as long as Pokemon Master. Pokemon Master since launch. I started around 2015, really late 2015. I had started. I just like been replaying the game around that time. I was just like, I'm in the mood to play some Shadow. And around that time, I just added Shadow to like followed games on Twitch. So I'm like, maybe I'll see somebody playing the game and it'll be fun. And then like the next day, I saw Zeti doing. I think it was an all A ranks speedrun. That he was doing, I think, for Shadow's like anniversary, like 10-year or something. And that I was like, that looks really fun. I want to do it myself as well. So I started learning how to speedrun the game. And even before I had a capture card, I was like recording off like a webcam off my TV. And I ended up breaking multiple category world records and beating multiple of Zeti's times pretty quickly. Yeah. And it was fun, so I kept doing it for a while. I kind of stopped playing as much around like 2019. Just like kind of fell off it after I finished doing Blindfolded. And Zeti got me back into it this year by saying, "Hey, do you want to do this? Sacer is doing this race. Do you want to do it? Do you want to do a race against me for his arrival?" And I'm like, "Sure." So I installed SX, and now I'm unretired, I guess.
Yeah, rocking those vibrant colors. I've seen. Was it the blue and the red? Like the hot pink?
Blue and pink. It's based off my profile picture, my avatar, which is a Kirby with an Azrael tail.
Love it. But yeah, no, so obviously going up against Zeti, you mentioned there a little bit kind of the sort of de facto route into the game, watching him. Obviously you've both been in the community for a while alongside each other. What's it kind of been like going up against him and just kind of, I guess, seeing the community grow as it has done, and just kind of being in it and competing alongside him directly, I suppose?
Oh yeah, it is. It's been. I've loved doing stuff with Zeddy. Both and I have like really pushed a lot to like make the game all more optimal in those early days. Like, I'm gonna be honest, my early world records, they just felt bad. Like, I'm like, this time is awful. Why did I get this time? And we both of us have pushed a lot to do it early on to like optimize everything a lot more than it already had been. Also documenting a lot of stuff that wasn't already documented. Like, there's a lot of stuff that wasn't like didn't have like videos for stuff like that. So push stuff of that. So I've been Zeddy is awesome. Despite what I've been making fun of him lately on streams, he's he's great. I love being friends with him and racing him and other stuff like that with Shadow. Just cool dude.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to this race especially. I guess we should actually talk about what it is, neutral glitchless, specifically. Kind of, I would say maybe certainly right now the most popular Shadow category.
Yeah,
right?
it's been the most popular Shadow category for a while. Just that Shadow, for a lot of people who do like the game and want to run it, it's the movement and the tech of the game that makes it interesting. I feel like the CCG is cool, warps are cool, but they're also like kind of lame. So once basically right around when I started running, those categories were starting to be a thing. Like Zeddy and a bunch of his friends had like their own leaderboards for what was no CCG at the time.
Yeah.
And I ended up taking all of those times, and since then they just end up being more popular because CCG is it's not that it's bad or makes the game like boring, but it's less interesting overall, I think. And also you don't have to have as much downtime, and there's also a lot of fun stuff you can do. Like with neutral glitchless, it's not just goal rings every level. Technically, 3 of the 6 levels are not goal ring levels. Despite it being getting to the lava shelter. And it's just a really fun category. It's a nice mix of everything that makes Shadow really cool without being super complicated either. It's got a good low skill ceiling, low skill floor, high skill ceiling category.
Yeah, it's a nice jump in category for sure. And so going back to Labrys then, switching things up again. Where have we been since we last saw you? You obviously just came off the back of a win against Ori at HST, so that was pretty interesting to see. But back to 06, kind of, have you been sort of delving into it much lately? Has there been much practice going on in anticipation for this?
I have been practicing on and off. It's just Shadow, you can get burned out very quickly if attempts aren't going well.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you just have like a major reset point about 2 splits into the run. And it's like, well, back to the start again. I had to deal with the dog. But otherwise, yeah, I've been practicing a fair bit, and if I can hold my feet to the fire to finish a few more runs, I think I'll be quite ready.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing that. And then Pokemon Master Fuse, same sort of question. Obviously, first time we're having you on Rival Battles, and we've seen you on Sacer a couple times before with like the expert mode tournament. But you mentioned about wanting to compete a bit more. What's kind of your general sort of approach to building up to a race and like your kind of method of practicing? What's it like for you in the build up?
That's interesting. Well, for games like the Sonic series, like pretty much everything from Sonic Adventure to Shadow, like I have a lot of experience, so at this point I don't try to practice too much. Just anything that I need to work on or something new, of course, I'll try to practice, but otherwise just make a plan and just be ready to play the day, you know?
Yeah.
But if it's a game that I haven't played before, then I'll definitely put in a lot of time. Just with everything and stuff like that.
Yeah, 100%. And then same question to you, Kirby, as someone who we haven't really seen on Rival Battles before. What's it like for you? Do you tend to like get involved in a lot of races, or is it sort of something that's just kind of a fun thing?
Well, I mean, I haven't been playing the game for like 4 years until like the last month. But I don't know, races aren't always like the thing I was most interested in. Even full game categories in general, I've lost a lot of interest in compared to doing ILs. So what I've been doing the last week is basically just doing ILs for all of the levels on neutral glitchless. Like the D-Rust, as well as just to get better at them and learn the new routes and just get better at it. Like I've beaten my PBs in all of the 6 levels in neutral glitchless in the last week.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Well, other than Prison Island, but I did that like a few weeks ago. So like I'm probably better at all the levels than I was, I guess, before I left. So I did that for a while, and I'm just doing a bunch of no reset runs just to get myself back acclimated to playing Shadow again.
Yeah, 100%. And sort of what's it been like for you jumping onto SX as opposed to the days of old?
It is convenient that I don't have to set up capture card. That is what has kept me off of playing the game the last several years, is just getting my setup. Just like, there's a lot of work, so I just like that I can just play on an emulator, and I'm on my PC. If I want to play Shadow, I can just open Shadow and start playing, and that is very convenient.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, like, it really, because here's the thing with SX. SX is just, it's Shadow. It's vanilla Shadow with like a very few changes, and it just makes the in-game timer work better. So the biggest things are just the differences between playing on emulator now. So like I can make save states to practice things or test things better. Like that's helped a lot. Just putting a save state at the start of a level, so I don't have to waste as much time resetting levels.
Yeah, definitely.
Again, this is the convenience of being able to just open it and start playing it. So the fact that SX is a thing and that it is, planned to become like a general computable thing once we have our new side running. It's made me want to play the game more, because whenever I have the urge to play the game, I can just play it. I don't have to like worry about setting other stuff up first.
Yeah, exactly. And then Lab, coming back to you to ask you a question. Going into this, obviously, like we mentioned, you're going up against Matty XD, who showed himself to be a very capable racer in terms of consistency, in terms of a lot of higher-end strats in the Shadow tournament that we just had. But for you, yourself, where would you say that your main strengths with Shadow are that are going to give you a potential edge over Matty? What do you think you're looking at in this category that you think is going to swing things in your favor?
I don't think there's anything in particular I would say Maddie really does better than me, or vice versa. It's just all going to come down to how hard the cards fall, and I think it'll be a very close match. Like, I can't think of a level I was like, oh yeah, Maddie is just smoking there. Or vice versa. I can't really think of one.
Yeah, that is the thing with Shadow.
I go for a couple more things than he does, but like other than that, I go for Rouge Clip and White Acropolis, but that's like all I can think of, really.
Yeah, that really is the thing with that category. It is one of the most crumbly, for lack of a better term. Like, it can just fall apart, like, at the most unexpected split for anybody going into it. But, yeah, definitely going to be an interesting one, because on paper, as you say, it is going to be a very even matchup. But we'll see how the cards are dealt.
Yeah.
And then Pokemon Master, over to you as well. Same sort of question. When it comes to going up against Jocko, what do you kind of feel are the main things that you've got that can give you an edge?
That's interesting. This category, since it's like the first time we've ever, at least that I know of, that we've ever done like a formal run of it. I'm not sure, but because our individual level times are both pretty good for the stages in the run, and such a short run too. So I don't know. I think we're pretty much, I'd say, even going into this.
Yeah, well, that's what we like to hear. And then Kirby, over to you, same sort of question. Is there anything that you kind of feel you've got over Zeti going into this?
I think compared to Zeti, I go for a lot more risky strats and try to really go for basically the optimal strats in every like level. But on the other hand, I'm less consistent than he is because of that. Like Zeddy is a bit slow to like update his like routes in his head for levels and stuff. Like I was watching stream yesterday. He doesn't know how to do Dortex and Airfleet yet. Like, come on.
Amateur.
It's ridiculous. But exactly. But like that's been known since I stopped playing. And he still doesn't do it for Airfleet. Like, come on. But he still, because he plays it like multiple times a week and he streams like multiple hours a day, multiple hours a week, like every week. He's got a lot more fundamentals with the game. He's got more consistent at just like getting a run done that's gonna have a good time. Where I'm probably more volatile. If only one because I'm a bit rusty on a lot of stuff, but also just because I do go for a lot more of the faster strats, which tend to be harder strats. Like one thing I definitely know is going to be a difference is that there's a spin dash high jump you can do after the third reactor and lava shelter. There's an easy version you can do by the checkpoint that's extremely consistent. Like you're not going to fail it, and but it's not as fast as doing a jump off of a railing that gets you really high up in the air and skips a bunch of platform jumps. I am going for that, and Zeddy is probably not doing that, and I will probably die doing it. So that about tells you we need to know about the differences in us as players. I think.
Yeah, the age-old consistency versus risk is going to come into play. I think it's going to be a real cool one to see. Lab, coming back to you then. This is a question that I've been enjoying asking recently because it's effectively like the interviewer's curse that we can go back and watch in post to see if it paid off. If I was to ask you to name one split in the run, which you're like, yeah, this is my split, this is the one which you keep an eye on me when I'm in, what's it going to be?
Oh, you did say this last time I was here. I don't know if it went well or not. I forgot. I want to say you might, depending on my pace, you might want to keep an eye on Crisis City. Depends. I may do some funny stuff there.
Yeah.
Who knows?
We're going to see ladder?
No, you will not see ladder. You will never see ladder.
One day.
No.
It'll become the meta.
Oh, God.
But yeah, Crisis is definitely an interesting split. Also a split where a lot of stuff can go wrong, so we'll come back to this, I'm sure. And then Pokemon Master, same question to you. Is there any split in this run that you're going to be feeling particularly confident
in? I'd say, yeah, for this, let's go with Sky Troops. It's the hero mission. This one, yeah, I like that stage, so
it's the
that was awesome getting to go through it.
The one where you destroy the temple jewel things, right?
Yes.
I'd have to watch that one, actually. I'm not sure what the speedrun of the hero mission looks like, but I'm sure it's pretty cool.
Yeah, this run actually is one of the few story routes where you play through Glyphic Canyon and Sky Troops. So you get to put the temple up and then put the temple down in the same run.
Well, there you go. This is true neutral in the most literal sense, just regardless of where we finish. But hey, anyway, also on to Kirby. Any split which is going to be the Kirby split. What do you have on
Prison Island.
Prison
Island.
Island.
Prison Island Arc is like my favorite level, and it's also been a meme for the last few weeks that Zeddy sucks really bad at Prison Island Arc. He's bad at it. That's been jokes. Though I think he's getting better at it. Like he got a PB in neutral glitchless the other day, and he got like a 135, which is actually very good for Prison Island. So and there are a lot of ways to mess up and lose a lot of time. So it's not guaranteed, but it's Prison Island. Zeddy sucks at Prison Island. I'm very good at Prison Island, and that's really needs to be said about that.
If Zeddy could hear this now, I wonder what he would say. Wonder if he suddenly wants to
I'd say this to his face. I'd say this to his face. He sucks at Prison Island. I say it to his face multiple times per stream.
Well, there you go. Lab, coming back to you then. Another sort of question along this line. If I was to say to you what time you got to walk away with to win this race, what time do you need to put on the table?
I think I need a mid-low 32.
Okay.
I need to play pretty well. I don't think either of us need to play perfectly in order to get a win.
Mm-hmm.
But I think mid-low 32, 31 would seal it, but 31 implies a lot has to go right.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but like a mid-low 32, like if either of us get that, then like we're in a pretty good position.
I could definitely see it. I think a 31 on lock is an interesting thing to say because there's every chance that we can see a double 31, but that would be a spectacle. Absolutely, that would be two runners playing on top form.
That would be super sick.
Yeah, and then Pokemon Master, you're in a bit of an interesting position because obviously your category is not one that's got much of a standard sort of time frame set to it. But you're also in a position where we're going to be doing the lap format, where we have a 2-lap race, where we're actually playing through the same category twice over, and then adding up those times. But have you done runs of this category thus far? Like, do you have a PB?
I don't. But, yeah, I actually don't, but, that's not really too much of a problem.
No.
I practice the stages individually, so.
Hmm. And so the 2-lap format for this, is that something that you're kind of interested in seeing how that pans out? Obviously, not as simple as a one and done, but also it's a bit different because we're trying out the best ofs and we're also trying out the lap format and seeing which one works the best. But what do you kind of think of that going in?
Yeah, I definitely think that's actually it's good. It tests the player more because like both runs count. Like if it's a 2 out of 3, you can have a really bad run and still win with 2 more wins. But this, like, you gotta be on your game, I guess. You have to just be consistent.
Yeah, it's like a nice natural way of effectively extending the category, so it's going to be interesting. And the same thing for Kirby, actually. We're also doing the 2-lap race on your end. And, go on.
My goal is sub 11:30 per run, so I guess 23 minutes overall in game time. That's my goal right now. My PB is an 11:08. I can definitely improve that just because I haven't played it in so long. But that's my goal. I don't know if that'll be enough to win because Eddie's very good. But that is my goal. If I can get sub 11:30, I think that's an ambitious goal also, given my rust in the game. But
yeah, 23 seconds off PB.
That's currently what I'm aiming for, and I think I'll probably do very good if I get that.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And so with that, I think probably worth asking a little bit. We've spoken about this sort of series of matchups coming up, but we've got a couple others on the cards as well. In fact, we've got 3 right here and 2 others elsewhere with the Dark Story and the Team Dark races coming up. But I'll start with Lab. Is there anything on this card, might even be one of the 2 matches alongside you, that's caught your eye that you're kind of looking forward to in particular?
I'm looking forward to Zephyr Drum for sure. The Dark Story. It's going to be a really neat case. I don't want to say old school versus new school because Zephyr's been around the block for a while himself. But it's 2 players that haven't really faced each other. Zephyr been on the rise towards 22, and Drum just being kind of the old guard that's been really great at Dark Story for a very long time. Holding record at one point as well. At probably several points. I don't know my history.
Yeah, and then you have Zephyr with the single segment rise in the last sort of year or so. It's been interesting.
Yeah, Zephyr was an ILer, and now he's branching out into single segment, and so this is going to be really interesting to see how this shakes out. Because I have seen Drum make some ILer moves while in DST. And some of those worked out. Some of those got him buggy skipped.
Was that an IL move, or was that just...
That was him trying to min-max landing on the platform, and he was too low.
It's certainly ambitious. Not much is true.
Definitely ambitious. So it's going to be interesting to see how safe they play versus each other. I know Zephyr's probably going to have a leg up in bosses just because of what he's probably going to go for. We might see Hotter Shot. We might see Warm Shot. Who knows?
Very much, yeah. There's been some interesting little optimizations in Dark Story popping up lately, which has been cool to see. NG Plus in particular, that's going to make for a very good race, I feel.
Yeah, Iron Gate is going to be huge. But I have faith they can just both hit the skip and then we can move on with our lives.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
And then Pokemon Master asking you, I got a feeling that I might have an idea of something you might have your eye on, because I know you got a bit of Sonic Heroes history as well. But, yeah, are there any matches that are catching your eye?
Yeah, for sure. Sonic Heroes is probably the game I've spent the most time out of all the games I've competed in. It's the one I have the most time put into. So the one Freefall versus New, I'm definitely interested in that because Team Dark in particular doesn't have many players at all, or LTS or unrestricted. So getting some more time to shine is really good for the category. And both players are really good players in general, so it's gonna be awesome, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always nice to see sort of like a category with lower numbers, even if it is still quite popular, get some time to shine. So that's going to be a very good one, I feel.
Besides that one, I think besides our shadow runs, I think it's probably the Sonic Adventure 2 run. Second for me, most interested in seeing.
Yeah, definitely.
I know New Game Plus is going to be, let's put a little bit different spin on it. So.
Yeah, it makes for some nice switch ups in Dark Story, especially. Hero Story not so much, but Dark Story definitely gets some nice changes. But yeah, and then over to Kirby. Same question to you. Anything that's sort of lighting up your eyes a bit? Oh, I think we've lost Kirby actually. We got him muted.
I'm muted, sorry.
There we go.
I don't know, that Zeddy Kirby race is looking fire.
You're gonna be in the audience for that one? Watching, anticipating?
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely gonna watch that one. Other than that, probably the Team Dark, because Sonic Heroes is awesome. It's super underrated, and that one will be really fun to watch just because I like Sonic Heroes. It is a good video game.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Whole host of exciting matchups to come up. But I like to ask this question too, whenever I've got people in on here. I'll start with you, Kirby. I'll go from back to front this time. If there was any particular match that you could make, so any runner, past, present, future, make up a runner, they don't exist yet. Take two people, any category, what would you like to see? Your dream match.
I don't know if I have a good answer for that. And an answer, because my number one answer would involve somebody who's a very bad person getting beaten very badly in a race.
I see.
I think I know this one.
Yeah, you know that one. And I'm not gonna go further into that in details,
okay.
But I don't know. Other than that, I don't know if I have a particularly good answer for that. I memed a while earlier, but I think Zeddy versus me is a good race. I don't know, Jacko and Dream, something like that.
Yeah. Definitely some fun matches in the Shadow bank, so to say. But then Pokemon Master, over to you. Anything that you would love to see in terms of two runners going up against each other?
Interesting. Very large amount of people to pick from. What is the scope? Like, it has to be...
We'll keep it to Seiza, so like any Seiza game.
Yeah. It's gonna be, I don't know if anyone knows these two. Well, I think one of them might be familiar, but I'd say maybe Chain Chump versus Paragod.
Oh, right, yeah.
Really good Sonic Adventure 2 player. Back, say 2000, Paragod, he had stopped playing. He had stopped playing in like 2010, and Chain Chump just started, I think, in like 2010. Years ago, Hero Story, or even like a Time Attack tournament like individual level tournaments
Yeah.
head to head. That'd be awesome to watch.
That'd be insane. That'd be crazy
Yeah.
to see, actually. Wow, that would be like
Yeah, no, that would.
the golden oldies at their peak. That'd be really something to see. I like that one. That's a good shout. And then Lab, obviously we've had you on a couple of times, but any sort of thing that's catching the eye right now, anything that's sort of heating up that you feel would make for a good battle?
You know, I think what would be really cool is Nim puts Venom and Tails.
Oh,
Nim has been gaming recently.
yeah.
And although Venom might be a bit rusty, I think those two people would give each other a run for their money.
I don't know, because do you see Ven up against Natborn? Like, didn't look like he'd left the game for a day.
You have a point. Maybe you versus Nim. That would be also sick.
That would be interesting. That would be very interesting.
Yeah, no.
He's right
you're up
behind
there
me on the
too.
board now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that Nim's cooking up a Storm and Tail story at the moment, so that would absolutely be a cool one to see. But yeah, that probably just about brings us to a close in terms of all those main questions. But then just one final thing to ask you all. I'll go one by one. If you have any final message for your opponent. None of them are here at the moment. But Lab, any final words to Matty if he sees this?
Good luck. I suppose. I don't know what to say here. Like,
anything for you, Pokemon Master? Signing off to Jacko.
I'd say, Jacko, have fun and do your best tomorrow.
100%, absolutely. And then Kirby, any wholesome messages which you want to pass on to Blaze and Zeti?
Zeti, you suck.
It's sure to be a real good one tomorrow. We're kicking off at 12:30 PM Eastern with Jacko versus Pokemon Master, and we got a nice lineup of 5-hole matches, finishing off with Drum against Zephyr. It's been a real pleasure having each of you on here. Thank you all for hopping on. Real fun time. And I look forward to seeing you all in action tomorrow. But until then, thank you, gamers. If there's anything left you want to say, you can say it now.
Zeti, you suck.
That'll be that then. Thank you all for hopping in here.
I just want to say, yeah, excited for tomorrow. Hope it all goes well for us.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I'm sure it'll be a fun time, and we get to see some really cool categories as well. So yeah, that'll be it from us for now. Catch us all tomorrow on Sacer.events. Sacer_events, I should say. And yeah, that'll be a real big one to look forward to. And then following that up, 2 days later, we've actually got the Sonic Adventure CX tournament to look forward to. So whole host of action coming up on Sacer Events. But once again, thank you all for hopping on here, and wish you all a very good night. Take care.